Holden Manz Big G 2017. It's a wine of origin Franschhoek from Holden Manz Estates, and 2017 was a fabulous vintage. That's point number one. That's a vintage that allows you to make bold wines. But here, this is bolder than bold. This is big. This is a Big G 2017 from Holden Manz. So how big is it in your glass, Kathy?
It's unashamedly big, and the Big G himself admits that it is unashamedly big, just like him. So in the glass, yeah, it's big, hey? Look at that big colour. Nice and deep, lovely flashes of ruby through there, beginning to show a little bit of garnet, but really a lovely and attractive colour. Well, the nose is certainly very big.
Big.
Big. So it's 15% alcohol, that's how big it is. But it's actually got enough fruit for me on the nose to match that alcohol, so that the alcohol is not offensive, and it is certainly not coming across as spiritus. There's just that little hint of it. Black fruit, dark fruit, some cassis even.
Had a lot of cassis on the nose at the first.
Yes.
It's like this black fruit supported by dried herbs, or sometimes even a bit of fresher herbs like oregano and thyme, and that's what I would. But we are 77% Cabernet Sauvignon. That would explain.
That would
why.
explain the cassis and the dark black characters of it. That does follow through into the palate. You get the black fruit most certainly on the palate. I think they must have picked the cab quite ripe, though it is not coming across as jammy. And likewise with the Cabernet Franc, it's really well handled because there's not an overt or intense leafiness or herbaceous character to this wine. That's nice, ripe Cabernet Franc, I really think. There's just a little droplet of Merlot in this, which I would imagine adds to the bigness. And even though it is 15% alcohol, once again, it's not this fiery fortification kind of character that you get on a Jarapigo, which is usually can be just 16%. So you're one step away from being as alcoholic as a Jarapico, and yet the fruit is actually handling it really quite well.
It's always a question of balance, you know. In some part of Spain or south of France, we have wines that are borderline 16. Sometimes they are actually 16, but because of the concentration of the fruit, they taste much lighter. I was very surprised to taste some Southern Rhone or Northern Spanish wine, which tasted extremely fresh. And I couldn't believe what I was reading on the label, because by law they had not to lie on the label. And that's a feeling I have here, an extreme concentration of fruit, and yes, a lot of cassis, and it's supported. I have this hint of bruised tomato leaf. That's probably coming from the Cabernet Franc. It's only 20%, but Cabernet Franc can be extremely aromatic on the tomato side when you push the maturity and stress it a bit on a very hot vintage like 2017. And the Merlot, yes, as you say, probably contributes to the roundness of the wine, because it's like big, broad shoulder. It's a big wine. I mean, at least someone is not lying on the label. It says big, it smells big, it tastes big, it is big.
And it will make a big impression.
Yes, Holden Manz, the Big G 2017. Wow, that's big.